For a moment, she thought she must be hallucinating, but now she was battered into wide, open jaws, and she landed on Wet's tongue alongside Dot, who locked it just as dazed. Agatha pocketed her head between sharp teeth and picked it up at Castor's long snout and bloodshot eyes as he balanced it atop the blue breezeway, with Priyanka and Bossam squared in his palm. A gulp of Joe splashed it on Agatha's cheek. Down below, pirates began stringing their bows while Kay waded into the school for good, Agatha tracking him through the castle glass. Kay bounded up the spiral staircase, his boots skipping steps. "Castor, he's coming!" Agatha cried. Instantly, the dog was on the move, leaping between breezeways towards the roof, clamping Agatha and Dot in his hot, wet mouth. An arrow struck Castor in the buttock, and he writhed in pain, nearly spewing Agatha and Dot out into the air. But the two girls held on by the tips of his teeth as Castor dove off the last breezeway, his claw catching onto the rooftop. Agatha saw Castor's legs dangling over the edge, and she thrust out her arms, pulling him up, before an arrow almost decapitated her, and she dove back under his tongue. With a last surge, Castor threw himself forward, sliding onto the roof, and a moment later he was on his feet again, weaving through the hatch sculptures of Merlin's menagerie as Priyanka and Bossam yanked the arrow out of his womb. Agatha could feel Castor's heartbeats in his throat as she and Dot licked their finger close and magically erased the blood he was dripping, so it wouldn't have a trail. It would take Kay another minute to make it to the roof, but Castor's pace was slowing, his leg limping as he hustled past hedge scenes of King Arthur's court. Arthur and Guinevere married, their son's birth, until he turned a corner to the final one. The Lady of the Lake rising from a pond to bestow Excalibur on the king. Agatha knew the scripture well, not just because of her own history with the lady and the sword, but because the pond was a secret portal to Halfway Bridge, a portal she had used it often in her time at school. Now, as Castor lumbered towards it, Agatha glimpsed Yuba and Beatrix on the shore of the pond, frantically herding a few last year's thrusts into the water's portal. The students vanished beneath the surface in a blast of white lights before the Glom and fourth year jumped in themselves. Agatha heard the door to the rooftop slam open behind the hatch, the rush of Kate's footsteps. But Castor was already in mid-air, flopping towards the water, its portal gleaming with magic. Ryan's captain turned the corner a few seconds later. With his sword, Kate prodded as a boy's blue tie caught on a hatch, a girl's pink slipper under a bush, a spot of blood on the stone floor. His narrow eyes scanned the horizon, the moonlit hedges, the rippling pond. But there were no signs of life, except the shadow of a cloud moving across Halfway Bridge. If only he had looked closer at the shadow, he would have found what he was looking for. A dog hobbling into the school for evil, the last of his tail slithering into the castle like a snake. "You can put us down now," said Agatha. "Not until we get there," Castor gabbled, gulls in his mouth. He clenched his teeth harder on her and thoughts and clenched the first years tighter as he limped through the school for evil, still leaking blood. "You are as stubborn as your brother," Agatha sighed. "My brother is a prat," said Castor, pulling the girls out and fixing them with a stare. "First, Dove fires him. Then he goes to Camelot and Tetros fires him. I wrote him telling him to come here to evil, that we could rejoin hands and work together. Never heard from him again. Probably working for Ryan now. Sucks up to whoever will have him. My brother doesn't realize I'm the only one who will always be there." There was a sadness in Castor's voice that surprised Agatha. Castor and Polish may have tried to kill each other at times, but Castor loved his brother to the end. Who knew that she and a dog could have so much in common? Agatha thought wildly. Her relationship with Sophie wasn't so different. "Poor thing," Dot said, turning a passing watch to chocolate. For a moment, Agatha thought Dot was talking about Castor, then saw her watching Bossam, who had fingered in the dog's paw, as if the stress of the chase had been too much for him. Meanwhile, Priyanka was staring wide-eyed at her new surroundings. "If I've known evil would be like this, I wouldn't have been so good," Priyanka marveled.